You're listening to another episode of the Just Go Bike podcast, powered by RAGBRAI. This is the award-winning podcast where we are all about the culture of cycling, just for the fun of it. Your hosts are Murph from the Murphology podcast and AP from Parrot Talk. With tales from all over the nation, come for the bikes, stay for the fun, and leave with a smile. And now here is Murph.
Hey, that's me.
And AP.
Hey, that's me. Well, hey, Murph.
Hey, AP. Here we are at Parrot Talk Studios.
Live and in person, looking at each other in the face.
In the face.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're both smiling. So this is going to be a great day. One of our favorite, biggest, most important episodes of the year.
Yeah, that's right. We are about to talk about the RAGBRAI 53 full route.
Eek! And with us is ride director Matt Phippen.
Hello, ladies.
Hello and welcome.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
We love podcasting with Matt because he has all the info, all the knowledge, and he's a great podcaster.
Well, thank you.
That was off script.
I know. Well, look, I just, I like to throw a couple compliments in there.
Is this a pretty big day for you because you finally nailed down everything that could be nailed down besides weather and crazy things that happen?
Yeah, this is the last big box that we have to check before we can start truly moving forward with everything else. Obviously announced the 8 overnight towns in January. Everybody kind of speculates where the route goes. And, you have people that take the mileage and, the towns and try to piece it all together. And some are close, some are wrong. But you would get to a point where all the towns have been talked to. You've now talked to the counties and make sure there's no big county projects. If there is, you're navigating what that's going to look like. And then April is truly here's all the big dots, here's all the small dots that connect those big dots. And now we start planning again.
I'm really glad that you're not announcing this on April Fool's Day because I think it would be tricky.
Yeah, there was somebody who was like, you need to announce this and do it on April Fool's and just then keep people guessing. And I'm like, they've already been guessing. So it's like, let's just give it to them.
Okay, well, I think we'll do just like we've done in the past because people love it, is where we literally go through every single town. Matt, contribute what you can. AP and I always, are in for the fun facts. So should we do it?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go.
So we start out in the beautiful town of Ottawa. And we wake up Sunday morning and the route begins. So let's hear it.
Sure. So day one, Ottawa to Harlan is 59.3 miles, 3,506 feet of climb. Ooh. And the first town out of the gate is Turin, 7.6 miles down the road. It will be the flattest section of the entire week. You only gain 42 feet of elevation from Ottawa to Turin with a max grade of 1.4%. So a pretty flat first stage.
So we're going to feel it. We're going to be like, this is going to be easy all week. And then
the hills eventually catch up to you.
It's the warm-up.
The warm-up, yeah. The most asked question I've gotten, because people think that I know it because I'm on this podcast, right? The biggest question is how steep the hills are and if the hills that are named are on the route. So keep that in the back of your head.
Sure.
Because, or in the front of your head, because I know.
I'll just keep it in my head somewhere.
Okay, fun fact about Turin?
Well, and I want to say this is part of the route that I've actually driven. And as you go to Turin, you really can't see the hills coming and you can tell what's ahead. So
that's right. I think you pointed them out.
Yeah.
Are those the mountains of Iowa right there?
Yeah. It looks like mountains, even though it's just hills. But so Turin was platted in 1887 and named after Turin, Italy. I'm not sure if they pronounce it Turin or not.
Turin.
Yeah, Turin. I don't know. But they have a population of 72 people, and it's one of the smallest towns on our whole route.
Whoa. That reminds me of last year. Was it May City?
Yeah, May City. Yep.
Wow.
They had 63. Well, 63 included their cats.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. And then we're well on our way to Soldier after that.
Okay.
Yeah, so stage 2 will take you from Turin to Soldier. It's 10.7 miles, 688 feet of climb during that stage with a max grade of 8.3%.
8.3.
Yep, so it starts to climb a little bit.
Wow. That we could almost say those are going into the mountains.
Almost. Soldier was named for the Soldier River, and the Soldier River was named for a Civil War soldier who died on the bank of the river on his way home from war.
Wow.
So it's a little grim, but also a nice I don't know, tribute to this person.
Sure.
But
So stage 3 will take you from Soldier to Dunlop. Dunlop will be the meeting town for the day. 13.8 miles, 793 feet of climb during that stage with a 5.5% max grade.
Wow. And this is also the meeting town, right?
It is. Yep.
I think Murph knows my fun fact for Dunlap.
Do I?
Yeah, it's home to Dairy Sweet.
Is that where we went the one day we were doing a scouting trip?
Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Are you guys with RAGBRAI?" And we're like, "I don't know." And we're wearing like our full RAGBRAI gear. But yes, they it's an excellent ice cream, and they also like restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah, they have everything at Dairy Sweet. Highly recommended. You'll be able to visit them on RAGBRAI.
And they also have an outdoor public swimming pool. So if it's one of those super hot days, maybe during your lunch break, you'll take a quick swim.
There you go. You will leave Dunlop for stage 4 of the day, and you'll head to Erling, 13.1 miles, 1,014 feet of climb in that 13.1 miles with a max grade of 5.9%.
I think this is a great time to say, if you haven't been training, you better get training.
There will be hills.
Yeah. And if you've been riding with us on Zwift, you'll know Murph has been gradually increasing the difficulty of our rides, whether intentionally or not, I don't know. And Matt will throw a super hard one in there once in a while too. So highly encourage you to work on increasing the intensity of your training rides.
Yeah. And we will continue with weekly Zwift rides. So if you're somebody that Zwifts from home, tune in to the club on Zwift and join us.
All right. Well, I want to talk about Erling. I've been excited to talk about Erling this whole time because Erling is famous in paranormal circles for the 1928 exorcism of Anna Eklund. So
it's amazing. You told me about it over the phone a couple of times, and I have since looked it up. And it is a very sad situation for Anna Eklund. But didn't you say it's one of the longest exorcisms that's documented?
It took 23 days. And by all accounts, if she wasn't totally rid of her demons after the exorcism, she had little demons, smaller demons. So it's pretty exciting. I'm sure we'll talk about it more. But yeah, they're famous in paranormal circles.
Have you noticed anything when you were spending time there?
Not yet, but I'm very intrigued now. It's awesome.
See what kind of vibes you can pick up.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, let's get out of Erling and head on down the road. So stage 5 will take you from Erling to Westphalia. 5.6 miles, 489 feet of climb with a 6.7% max grade.
And this town was named after the town in Germany with the exact same name. And I'm going to try and say it, Westphalia?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's how we're saying it.
So that's interesting. And also it was founded by a colony of German Catholics.
Yeah, there you go. And their St. Boniface Catholic Church is listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Interesting.
So we will leave Westphalia and make our way up for the last stage, stage 6, to Harlan, 8.5 miles, 526 feet of climb with a 5% max grade.
Okay, so we're calming down as we get into Harlan, so that's good.
Okay, so we're excited to visit Harlan, but we've talked about it on another episode, so let's flip over to day 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you just kind of recap or hold on before we pass to day 2, like looking at day 1, Turin to Soldier has the biggest max grade at 8.3%. Soldier to Dunlop is the longest stretch of the day at 13.8 miles. And Dunlop to Erling has the most feet of climb with being over 1,000 feet of climb. So some fun facts.
That's how you're going to get rid of your demons, climbing on a bicycle.
That's right.
Yeah.
So diving into day 2, Harlan to Guthrie Center, 56.3 miles, 3,590 feet of climb. So another big day of climb. And we will have stage 1, Harlan to Elkhorn, 21.2 miles, 1,659 feet of climb with a 7% max grade.
Woof.
It's no joke.
Elkhorn was named for Elkhorn Creek, and they got that name because they found elk bones near the creek.
Oh.
Yeah. But beyond that, Elkhorn has a massive Danish heritage, and you'll see that throughout the town.
Mm-hmm.
They have a giant windmill, a reconstructed windmill that was originally built in 1848 in Denmark.
Wow.
And it has to have 20-mile-an-hour winds to operate. So I hope it's not operating when we get there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. TBD.
TBD. All right.
So stage 2 for the day will take us from Elkhorn to Exira. Exira will be the meeting town for the day, 9.6 miles, 699 feet of climb with a max grade of 6.4%. And I have a fun fact that my mom told me about Exira. I guess that's where all the Phippens are from.
Oh.
So I need to do some digging and see if I have any ancestors floating around there. So we'll see.
I'll be asking around on pre-ride.
We could go knock on
some doors.
Knock on some doors. Hi, do you know the Phippen family?
Exira is also home to Jack Pardee, NFL player and head coach.
Oh.
So I'm not a huge football fan, but I think maybe some of the listeners will know who that is.
And Exira is known to be the oldest town in Audubon County.
Exira was named for Miss Exira Ekman, who she and her father were visiting relatives in town, probably the Phippens, when the town was laid out.
Probably.
And her father said he would buy a plot of land if they named the town after her. And they did, and he did, and you can still find that home in Exira today, a block east of City Park.
Oh,
very cool.
Cool.
So the last stage of the day, Exira to Guthrie Center, 25.5-mile stretch, 1,336 feet of climb with a max grade of 6%. So when you look at this day, not a whole lot of towns on route. You have Elkhorn and Exira, so you have some longer stretches in between. So there will be some vendors kind of in between to help out with that, but there will be some long stretches to start the day and to end the day.
All right, then we're on to day 3. It's the way to be. We head out of Guthrie Center and we go to Panora.
Perfect. So day 3, 60.6 miles, 1,583 feet of climb. That first stretch from Guthrie to Panora is 8.1 miles, 462 feet of climb, and a max grade of 6.4%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Panora is the oldest town in Guthrie County, and it's located on the Middle Raccoon River.
We haven't been to Panora on RAGBRAI since 1986, although there are a lot of bike rides that go through Panora because it's on the Raccoon River Valley Trail. So cyclists from the central Iowa area may already be familiar with Panora. They're a huge cycling town, so they'll know how to kick us off on day 3.
Perfect. Stage 2, Panora to Yale, 6.8 miles, 182 feet of climb, so a flatter stretch with a max grade of 3.5%.
I like this stretch.
Yeah. Yale is one of the many towns on our route this year that are known for their 4th of July celebrations. So that's really great. It ties into the fact that it's America's 250th. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of patriotic stuff. I don't know what Yale's theme is going to be in it by any means, but I just think it's cool. A lot of the towns are known for their 4th of July celebration along the route this year.
Perfect. Stage 3 will take us from Yale to Perry, 17.3 miles, 202 feet of climb with a max grade of 1.4%.
Ooh, thank you for that.
It gets a little bit easier. It does.
Yep.
And Perry, for people that live in, central Iowa and use the bike trails a lot, Perry is well known. They have lots of bike sculptures, lots of art, and they have a hotel called the Hotel Pattee. And it has a room that's completely decorated, RAGBRAI.
Yeah. It has little portraits of different RAGBRAI directors on the ceiling. I don't think I've seen Matt there yet.
I hope not. I'm not on the ceiling for anybody to look at me.
But there are other previous directors on the wall. It's kind of a cool deal.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Stage 4 will take us from Perry to Ogden. It's the longest stretch of the day at 18.4 miles, 292 feet of climb, and a max grade of 2.9%.
Okay, Ogden, it has a fun fact so cool. It's the only fun fact that I included a picture in my research because Ogden is it was home to Brookie Supreme from 1928 to the 40s. And Brookie Supreme is a Belgian stallion known for his extreme size. He was the world's heaviest and perhaps largest horse, standing at 19.2 hands, which is about 7 feet, and he weighed over 3,000 pounds.
Whoa.
So Brookie Supreme doesn't live there anymore, but that is so cool, and I implore you to Google him because it's a truly massive horse.
It's a huge horse, yes.
Perfect. So we'll head into day 4, Boone to Marshalltown. We're looking at 67.9 miles, 1,819 feet of climb. The first town out of the gate will be Gilbert, 17.8 miles, 300 feet of climb with a max grade of 2.6%.
We haven't visited Gilbert since 1976. So this is a return that's been a long time coming. I'm pretty excited to see what Gilbert's got. They are known for being home to Christian Petersen, who is a Danish-born sculptor and teacher. He was the first permanent artist in resident at a U.S. college or university, and that college or university is Iowa State.
Very good.
And you can see his work all over campus today. If you Google him, you will recognize his work. It's like a metal relief sculpture that's pretty beautiful.
And Gilbert is home to 3 parks and a museum right on Main Street. So I'm guessing the town will be showcasing at least one of those.
I think it has the first roundabout in Story County.
Whoa.
It's a big fun fact. So we will leave Gilbert for stage 2 and head to Nevada. And it's Nevada, not Nevada. So we got to make sure you get that right.
Get it right?
Insider scoop.
That's right. It'll be the longest stretch of the day at 18.3 miles, 469 feet of climb with a max grade of 4.2%.
Nevada has a lot of history, a lot of cool fun facts, but I'd like to point out some of their notable people, including Mary Clem, who's a mathematician and early pioneer in computing at Iowa State, Neva Patterson, who is an actress in the early 1900s for many movies, and then the mid 1900s, including Taxi and An Affair to Remember, and Paul Rhodes, who is a former Iowa State football coach. So a lot of cool, interesting people in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
We will leave Nevada for stage 3 and head into Colo, 7.3 miles, 178 feet of climb, and a max grade of 1.4%.
Ooh.
1.4, you're calling my name.
That's right.
And I believe that we went through this not too long ago because I remember AP and I talking about how the town is named.
The town was named for an unfortunate event in which railroad official John Inslee Blair's dog was crushed by a train, and they named the town in his honor. But in my notes, I had to add, this John Inslee Blair is a famous, he was a famous rich guy, and towns, Blair, Nebraska, Blair, Wisconsin, Blairstown, New Jersey, are all named after him, and Colo's the only one named after his dog.
Aww.
So,
and I believe there's a statue somewhere in Colo.
Oh, it's right on their town sign.
Yeah.
Colo also is known as the crossroads of the nation because it sits at the intersection of the Jefferson Highway, which is north to south, and the Lincoln Highway, which is east to west.
And then located near Hickory Grove State Park. You may remember this very famous place because it was the filming location for the 1996 film Twister.
Ooh, love that movie.
I do believe there's also, somebody told me that there is a very large hill right around here, and it's called Twister Hill for that reason. So I don't know if we hit Twister Hill, but...
Now with a max grade of 1.4%. So we will leave Colo for stage 4 and make our way towards State Center, 8.6 miles, 189 feet of climb, and a max grade of 1.4%.
I like this day.
Yeah. And you're going to like State Center too because they're known as the Rose Capital of Iowa. You must not miss their Rose Garden, which has been a community fixture since the 1950s.
So the last segment of the day is State Center to Marshalltown, 16 miles, 727 feet of climb with a max grade of 4.8%.
All right, listeners, that is the first half of our RAGBRAI 53 route recap with Mr. Matt Phippen. We'll get back to you with part 2
Soon.
We'll get back to you with part 2 very soon.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. New location, same wonderful people, right?
I would agree.
Yeah, we made a small change to where we are recording, so if we sound a little bit different, that's why. So where did we leave off?
We're about to start day 5 of RAGBRAI 53.
All right, Matt, take it away.
Perfect. Day 5 is Marshalltown to Independence, 86.2 miles, 2,487 feet of climb. This will be the longest day for the week, and we are going to leave Marshalltown and head towards Green Mountain, 9.3 miles, 313 feet of climb, 4.8% max grade.
In Green Mountain, our first town, it was named by early settlers from Vermont, and it was named after Green Mountain, Vermont. So I expect it to be verdant and beautiful, filled with plants. It's an unincorporated community, but they have a population of 113 people. So they're actually larger than the smallest town en route this year.
Perfect. So stage 2 will take us from Green Mountain to Beeman, 8.3 miles down the road, 320 feet of climb with a max grade of 4.1%.
And our last time visiting there was 1995. And AP, you'll be happy to know that they have a fire station. One more fun fact about Beeman. Originally, it was named Guadalupe, but was renamed in 1875 to the original owner of the town site.
Very cool. Stage 3 will take us from Beeman to Grundy Center, 12.7 miles, 355 feet of climb, and a max grade of 2.9%.
Grundy Center's motto is the good life. So we're all excited to go there and get a taste of the good life. They were home to Ziggy Hasbrook, a professional baseball player in the early 1900s, and the Much family. Corey Much is our graphic designer and our creative director here at RAGBRAI. So shout out to the Much family.
Stage 4 takes us from Grundy Center to Morrison, 5 miles down the road, 92 feet of climb, and a max grade of 2.8.
Ooh, we like that.
Small chunks.
Oh, speaking of small, population of Morrison is 98 people. So that's a couple of really tiny towns this year for pass-throughs.
Absolutely. So stage 5 will take us from Morrison into Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck will be the meeting town for the day. So 4 miles down the road, 55 feet to climb with a max grade of 1.3%.
Last time we visited Rhinebeck was 1983, which is the year I was born. So I haven't ever been to Rhinebeck before unless my mom rode RAGBRAI that year, which would be surprising. So it's named Rhinebeck, means clear, Rhine, and Brook, Beck in German. So got a little taste of German there in Rhinebeck. They have a golf course, frisbee golf course, sports fields, bike trail, hunting range, and swimming pool. So there'll be a lot to do in Rhinebeck.
So after you eat lunch, stage 6 will take you from Rhinebeck to Washburn. This will be the longest stretch of the day, 23 miles, 630 feet of climb with a max grade of 2.1%.
Washburn was named for an area farmer, Levi Washburn. So it's also an unincorporated community. I don't think you'll meet Levi because he was in the 1800s, but it's a great community.
And Matt, I've seen unincorporated a couple times in our list. What exactly does that mean to riders?
Basically, there's no city government. So the town kind of just pulls together and figures out their way of life, and taxes are different and just how that city operates. So,
okay.
We love the small towns. It's great when you have a city hall to work with, but a lot of times these small towns just pull together and figure it out.
Okay.
A lot of times it's a misconception that unincorporated towns won't host anything for RAGBRAI. That's just not true. These towns these communities are ready for RAGBRAI, and they're going to be excited to host us. So don't you worry. There's going to be all sorts of stuff going on.
So stage 7 will take us out of Washburn, and we'll head towards Gilbertville, 3 miles down the road, 59 feet of climb with a max grade of 3.4%.
In Gilbertville, they're sometimes called Sand Hill City. So I guess we'll see why. We'll be climbing into the Sand Hills. When they first were becoming a town, there was a French man named John Chambeau who went out east and told all these exciting stories about the city to people trying to get them to buy plots. So once they bought all his plots, he went off to France, and the buyers came to Gilbertville and just discovered a little tiny frontier town with lots of sandy patches on the ground. So Gilbertville's come a long way, and I think it would be a good place to buy a plot. But these days is a little different than the early days of Gilbertville.
Perfect. So stage 8 will take us from Gilbertville to Jessup, 12 miles, 518 feet of climb with a max grade of 3.5%.
And Jessup is called the Banner Temperance Town of the country. And basically this is because they used to be a dry town.
But not anymore. You'll have fun in Jessup.
Perfect. So last stage of the day is Jessup to Independence, 8.5 miles down the road, 186 feet of climb with a max grade of 1.6%. So for this long day, there will be 9 different segments that you'll be able to stop and refuel.
Sounds like a great day.
Perfect. Let's move on to day 6. Independence to Dyersville, 42.5 miles, 1,407 feet of climb. And the first town out of the gate leaving Indy will be Winthrop. So 8.8 miles down the road, 341 feet of climb with a max grade of 2.2%.
Nice. And the motto for Winthrop is the friendliest town for miles around. I love that. And they've got a golf course. They've got East Buchanan Community Schools are there. Historic Route 20, public library, swimming pool. There's so much more going on in Winthrop.
They're also home to a famous actress, Michelle Moynihan. I think I said her name right. She is born in Winthrop, known for acting in True Detective and White Lotus and more.
Stage 2 will take us from Winthrop to our meeting town of Manchester, 16.1 miles down the road, 514 feet of climb with a max grade of 2.4%.
Manchester is the largest community in the county. I'm sure many of you have heard of Manchester. We're excited to go there. But I wanted to give you a fun fact back from the day. In 1894, they built their county courthouse by old school crowdfunding by getting 700 people to make donations from the area, and they raised $38,000 for the courthouse. And it's now listed on the National Register of Historic Places, so don't miss the courthouse.
After lunch, we will make our way from Manchester to Earlville, 9.7 miles, 368 feet of climb with a max grade of 2.3%.
In Earlville, they were named for their first settler, George M. Earl. So I have to assume that guy had 3 first names, but that's could have been George just as likely, but I think there is another town with that name already. So they have several parks. It's going to be a nice shady place to take a break.
Last stage of the day, Earlville to Dyersville, 7.9 miles, 187 feet with a max grade of 2.3%.
And so the first question that's coming up in my brain is, I already know the answer, but other people maybe as well. Field of Dreams takes place in Dyersville, right?
That is correct.
So hoping we go through it this day or the next day. Take it away, Matt.
I'm going to tell you it's going to be the next day. Yes, so it will be on the route. So we want riders to experience it on that Saturday and kind of stay away from it on Friday because there's just a lot going on. But day 7 takes us from Dyersville to Dubuque, 34.1 miles, 1,699 feet of climb. And we will head from Dyersville to Field of Dreams, 5.3 miles down the road, 188 feet of climb with a max grade of 3%.
And what will be taking place at the Field of Dreams? Is it just because it's like a museum, the house, but then also the baseball field?
Yeah, so we're basically going to turn it into a breakfast stop for you guys.
Very
so,
good. Cool.
As of right now, they are building a brand new stadium, an MLB stadium, that we're going to be able to route riders through and past, and that'll take you to the old stadium, but next to the house. So I don't believe the house will be open that day to tour it, but you'll be able to check out the field and kind of you'll get a good lay of the land. But yeah, we're super excited to have the field on our route this year.
Mm-hmm. And the last time AP and I were there was, this was cold and no crops, the field wasn't there, but yet there was still a young guy running the bases, so that was pretty cool.
So stage 2 will take us from the Field of Dreams to Farley, 6.2 miles, 364 feet of climb, and a max grade of 5.2%.
All right. And our friend Christopher Welch, I don't know if he's listening to this podcast anymore because he lives in Minnesota, but his dog is named after Farley because he found Farley while biking. And Farley was lost, and so he grabbed the dog, named it Farley, and he's still an important member of his family. So, and our last visit for RAGBRAI riders was 1993.
Stage 3 will take us from Farley to Epworth, 4 miles down the road, 140 feet of climb with a max grade of 5.6%.
Our last visit to Epworth was also 1993, and I'm going to excuse my accent, but it was named for the town of Epworth, Lincolnshire, England. So it was also the birthplace of John Wesley, who was an English cleric, theologian, and evangelist. He was the leader of a revival movement within the Church of England known as Methodism. So important in the theological circles.
Stage 4 takes us from Epworth to Centralia. 5.5 miles down the road, 300 feet of climb with a max grade of 6.2%. So as you can tell, we're getting a little bit more intense as we get towards Dubuque.
Got to ramp it up. Got to earn that Mississippi tire dip. our next town's in Centralia. It was first named Dakota, but they later changed their name to Centralia. They're home to Town Clock Pizza and the Fear Barn Haunted House. I don't know if they'll be in operation in July, but maybe you could take a trip back there in Halloween time.
The last stage of the day and the week will take us from Centralia to Dubuque. 13.1 miles, 741 feet of climb with a max grade of 7.1%. This last stage has the most distance, the most elevation, and the most max incline.
Woo. So like I said, you're really going to have to earn it as you head to the Mississippi. But I like, it's traditional to have a tough last stretch going into the Mississippi, have a climb and then a nice roll into town. And, I like it because it gives you time to reflect on the week that you've just completed and, really appreciate all that you've achieved over that last 7 days.
And that last day is a little bit lower in mileage, so you can really take your time, see each of the places, but still get into Dubuque early.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the last day too, so our route does close a little bit earlier. So we open at 6 a.m. We close it at 4. So you still have to hit those time cuts because we have charters and family waiting to pick you up. So you don't want to miss those vehicles.
Mm-hmm. So what happens now that you've announced the whole route, every single pass through town? What happens now?
Yeah, so we bring all the pass-through towns together just like we did with all the overnight towns, and we start planning with them. They're going to come to Des Moines, spend a day and a half with us. We'll host them in our HQ and serve them beer and kind of hang out and relax with them, and then it's game on. We travel a bunch more times. So the following week, we're on the road talking with info and volunteers, and then after that, we have a full week of meeting towns and pass-through towns. Looking at that schedule, it is jam-packed. There's not a whole lot of time to eat, drink, or pee in most cases. And then we have law enforcement meetings coming up. That's kind of on the calendar for April. So we don't slow down. We only speed up.
And I was going to ask, when you have these unincorporated towns, how they're going to be able to get enough volunteers for us. But all I can think of is May City last year. What were they? Population 63, and they nailed it.
Yeah, it's just that, it's the small towns that the riders want to see. And, this is a big deal for them because this will be probably the largest event they're going to have, clearly this year, but for many years down the road. So it will take the entire community to come together. What we've noticed in these kind of travels that, these small towns, they start out small and they truly start to grow with people that want to volunteer.
Last question I have, and then I think AP has something too. But when will, because I've seen this comment on social media already, can you go and actually look at the roads and the maps yet, or do you wait till we've done the inspection ride?
Inspection ride is kind of our last time that we get true eyes on possible any changes to the maps. We're still working through some gravel things. Obviously we're getting a lot of rain this week, so the gravel roads are going to be pretty wet next week. So hopefully it dries out for us so we can actually experience some of that. We'll release the gravel route. We'll release the Century Day and some other kind of fun things we're doing first week of May. But yeah, we will wait through June to make sure everything looks good. We'll ride it to make sure the turn by turn works and everything checks out, and then we'll share it with you guys so you can download it through Ride with GPS.
My question was going to be when the gravel and Karis loops came out, so you answered my question. Nailed it. It's like you read my mind. But I just want to add that throughout this next week, RAGBRAI will be publishing the individual day maps for each day as well as the theme days. So keep an eye on our social media and our website. I know Corey Much has done a great job of building out our RAGBRAI route page, so go there and find, as we go along through the rest of this season, we'll be adding all sorts of more information. So be sure to check out ragbrai.com/route to find out more about all these wonderful towns. All right, Matt. Well, thanks for your time. I love this episode. I love talking through the routes with you. Thanks for another great one.
Thanks for the opportunity, ladies.
Well, listeners, that is it for today. We want to thank you for tuning in to listen to the Just Go Bike podcast. If you would like to contact Murph and AP with a comment about the podcast, or maybe even you have a topic in mind, you can reach us at justgobikepodcast@gmail.com. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook and watch our intros on YouTube. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, especially if you're a fan. That is going to do it for this week. Until next time,
Just go bike!
Theme song by Ryan Steer. Logo by Suzanne Milosevic. Produced by Kathy Murphy. Social media by Andrea Parrott. Intro by Pumpkin. Until next time, just go bike.